to the She Shine Show, everyone. We are so excited to be chatting with Vasavi Kumar today. Vasavi, say hello to everyone.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I'm
We're
excited to be
so
here. Yeah.
excited to dive in. So, as you know, with the She Shine Show, we love to give short, actionable tips and takeaways. But before we dive into the questions we have for you, could you just give us a brief background and tell us who you are, where you're from, all the goods?
I am a native New Yorker, now transplanted in Austin, Texas.
Hey.
I'm a licensed therapist. I'm a founder. I'm the founder of the Mind Your Own Business membership community. I'm also host of my podcast, Being Human with Vasavi. And I work with women who want to start and build their businesses and be themselves, right? And not have to wear a mask and really sacrifice their soul and sanity in the process of starting and building their business.
That is such important work that you're doing. And like we said, we're so grateful to have you here and sharing with our community. I know so many of you out there can relate to the description that you just gave. So thank you again for joining us. We would love to know, as a licensed therapist and mindset coach, how you have so much going on with this thriving community, thriving business, all the things, right? I know you're launching a mastermind, all these things. How on earth do you juggle it all?
The way that I juggle it all, first of all, that's a very good question, because I think a lot of times we look at women in business and we think they have some sort of magic secret. Okay. And so I'm just going to share what my secret is. And my secret really is I am the most selfish person that I know. Okay. And I say that and I embrace that word because I think too often women have been conditioned to put themselves last, right? Just put themselves on the back burner, serve everyone else first. And I had to learn it the very hard way as a recovering addict and alcoholic, that I have to put myself first in order for me to be of service fully to people. So the way that I juggle it all is that I don't try to. I don't try to juggle it all. I am very focused on what I want to work on, the clients that I want to work with, the projects that excite me the most, and that is what I focus on. I don't try to juggle it all. That's the thing. I don't wear that badge of honor like, oh, I'm doing it all. It's like, nope, I got my one-on-one clients. I have my membership community. I have my podcast and I have my mastermind. And with all of that, I know what I need to show up fully for the women that I serve, whether it's, through one-on-one or in my mastermind, recording podcasts, batch creating my content. Like I know what I have to do to take care of myself first. And it really does boil down to some of the most simplest things that I think we already know. So I don't want to beat a dead horse here. It's like, movement. I work out every single day. I drink a ton of water every single day. I make sure that I connect with my friends, connect with my family, and I am ruthless about saying no. I am ruthless about saying no. If it doesn't excite me, if I don't want to do it, I don't do it. I have great boundaries, and I've had to learn that because I think especially as a service-based entrepreneur, but as a therapist, we have been trained to kind of be martyrs. And I'm not into being a martyr. It's not sexy and it doesn't look good on me, and I just get resentful. So I don't try to juggle it all. That's
I love that you said that. And I can totally relate, coming from working in healthcare. I often feel the same way, that like my needs have to be put to the back burner to serve my patients first. And sometimes that bleeds over into my personal life, is let me serve everyone else before taking care of me. So I love that you are so, I think you said ruthless with your boundaries and saying no. And one thing also I really love that you touched on, and I think it'll really hit home with our community, is rather than thinking of juggling it all, really having a clear focus on the things that you have going on with your life, right? So you may be focused on 4 different things, but it's like, oh, okay, what else can I do? And then what else can I do, right? You're so laser focused on those tasks for your day to day with the ruthless boundaries of saying no.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's get into this next question here. You help others to find their voice as storytellers online. And we know you taught a course in our She Shines Academy on this, and our members absolutely love this. And it really helped them to speak their truth and to find their authentic voice. What is the number one issue or block that you've seen your community experience with finding their voice? And what advice do you have to get past that?
Yeah, the number one block that I see, the umbrella term that I'm going to use is imposter syndrome, right? But it shows up in the form of like, yes, so imposter syndrome, I'm not expert enough. If I make a mistake, people are going to think I'm a fraud, or I don't have it all together. I'm not perfect. My story is not, struggle bus enough. I don't have rock bottom stories. Who really cares? Like, I don't want to be extra. I don't want to be annoying. I don't want to be a burden. Like, oh my Lord, none of that is going to help you help other people. Because if you think you're extra and you think you're annoying and you think you're burdening people, guess what? You're not going to put yourself out there. You're not going to share your wisdom. You're not going to share your content. And if you're not sharing your content and you're not sharing your wisdom, how are you going to reach the people that you want to help? So the number one thing is really the mindset. Okay. It really is the mindset. It's the belief that we have to, tiptoe around selling. We have to tiptoe around marketing. I don't want to push my product. I don't want to push my service. Well, if you don't want to share it and you don't want to educate people about what it is that you have to offer and how you can help them, you're not running a business at this point. You have a hobby. Okay. So let's just call it what it is.
Say it again.
You don't have a business at this point. You have a hobby. You have a desire. You have a desire which has not yet come to fruition because you have all of this junk in here that's keeping you back. And for everyone listening, it's not your fault. It's not your fault, right? Literally from a very young age, we are taught, don't share your accomplishments. In the Indian culture, in the Indian community, my mother just said this to me the other day. She goes to me, I never praised you enough out loud. And I said, why not? She goes, I don't want to brag about you in front of people. I said, it would have helped if you would have, praised me a little bit, gave me a little bit of approval, because then maybe I wouldn't have been seeking it from so many other people, or maybe then I wouldn't have held back so much, right? I want to say this transparently with your audience. I've been in business for 10 years. And this thought has really, this is why I'm so passionate. In 10 years, could I have been further along? Right? As compared to some of my colleagues that I met 10 years ago, where they're at in their financial marks. Absolutely. I had to do two things. Okay. I had to make a decision that I am worth asking for more, that I do know what I'm talking about, that I do have expertise, and that being perfect is not really the business that I'm in. Being human is the business that I'm in. That's number one. Number two, the thing that I really had to get clear was my mindset. And I really had to start taking care of myself from the inside out, rather than projecting a persona, really being that person that I'm projecting behind closed doors. Because we can all project this persona about who we want others to think we are. But if behind closed doors, we feel this big, we are literally living a dual life. And that brings up all sorts of imposter syndrome feelings, right? So I had to get myself right. I did. And that is why I'm not as far along, but here's what I want to tell you about being further along. Number one, you're not competing with anyone else but yourself. That's number one. And number two, I think it's easy to compare yourself to other people and feel like I should be there. Right. Okay. And so stop doing that. Number three, though, let me tell you what happens when you make a decision to stop undermining yourself. When you make a decision to stop playing small, when you make a decision to start asking for what it is that you want and speaking up, that's when things just start to pop off, right? Like that is when you really have that momentum. When you have focus, when you have clarity, when you make that decision, everything just starts to open up. So it's like, I've made more progress and more money in this past year than I probably have in 3 years combined, right? In the first 3 years, few years of my business. And that all boiled down to a decision that I made.
Anna Laura has a really good saying about the should. You have to tell Vasavi.
Tell me. Stop shoulding all over yourself. And
again, I love that.
I cannot. I'm pretty sure that was Tony Robbins. I am not quite that creative, but I love it. I say it all the time to our community members. It's just, I love everything that you said. I had chills the entire time because I'm like receiving everything that you're putting out. I'm like, oh, I needed to hear this. This conversation is so timely. So thank you so much for everything that you just put out, because it's so true. You know, like mindset is everything. And I think we tend to focus as business owners so much on strategy,
Right.
strategy, new tools, new things, you know, the
Mhm.
latest social media tips and tricks, but it all starts and ends with your mindset. And if you aren't on top of that first, I mean, that's 90% of the game right there. And your
Mhm.
mindset keeps you showing up, keeps you consistent, keeps you engaged and interacting. And it makes total sense to me. I just had this light bulb moment while you're speaking as to why your community is called Mind Your Own Business. I'm like,
Yes.
hello, there it is.
Mhm.
There it is, because mindset is everything. So in your community, it's all about helping women, helping and men too, if I'm not mistaken, to feel good and do meaningful work.
Mhm.
And I would love to know what advice can you give to our viewers out there of multi-passionate entrepreneurs, multi-passionate women on feeling good and doing their own meaningful work when they are juggling all these different roles, like we mentioned earlier.
I would say the first thing is step back, right? While I read the book by Sheryl Sandberg on leaning in, I think it's important to lean in, but I also think sometimes you got to lean back. Like literally, like Fat Joe says, you got to lean back
Love
sometimes.
that song. Lean
Yes,
back,
yes,
lean back.
absolutely. You got to lean back sometimes, and you got to be like, what am I doing right now?
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't think that you need to burn out. You don't. And this is coming from someone who has burnt out and who had a
Mhm.
workaholic mother and who used to come home. You know, she's a retired cardiologist. She would come home tired, hungry, hangry, and be like, I haven't peed in 8 hours. And I thought that's what you had to do to be successful. I thought you had to sacrifice your soul and your sanity and your bladder in order to be successful. Like, I thought that that's what you had to do. And I had to learn the very hard way, right? Like, I'm a recovering addict and alcoholic. I've been to rehab twice. I had to learn how to take care of myself first, what that means for me, define what success means for me. And so stop looking at what everyone else is doing, how everyone else is running their business. I know I truly believe in women becoming more financially empowered and more independent, but you have to look at like, why do you want what you want? Do you want six figures? Great, but why? Is it because
Right.
that person's telling you you need to hit six figures? Why do you want seven figures? Like, go for it. Go for the gold. Go for 8 figures. Do whatever, but get clear on why you're doing what you're doing. When you
Right.
don't, because when you're not clear on why you're doing, you're just drinking the Kool-Aid and you're just a robot at that point.
Mhm.
Right? And you're just like, I need to do this. I need to do this. So like, lean back and really take inventory, take stock of how you're running your life, the people in your life, the clients that you're accepting, even though you're like, I don't want to work with them, the things that you're doing. And now I will say this, right? When you first start your business, I was doing everything in my business. Okay. I was everything. I did everything. And I think that's very important. I think it's important. It humbles you, but it also helps you really see how you want to run your business. And then you can pass that on. So I think that's very important. But, you know, if you are a solopreneur and you're doing everything, hats off to you, because I know it's not easy, but really take a look at what can be automated, what can be streamlined, what can be scheduled out, those mundane tasks that you're doing over and over. Like, how can technology replace this? How can you outsource this? Do you have it in the budget to hire someone? You know, and so really look at ways to get back into your zone of genius. And once again, I'm not saying don't do the hard work, because there's going to be things that you have to do. There are going to be things that you have to do. So I don't want to sugarcoat it and be like, oh yeah, just, you know, break the bank doing all this stuff. But I do think there needs to be, you need to have that space where you just lean back and ask yourself, what am I doing? Am I happy with the way things are? Okay, what do I absolutely hate doing? What do I love doing? Is there an opportunity for me to, you know, outsource? And just so really taking that time and taking inventory.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's so important. We do this quarterly on our
Yes.
our Bosscation, and it's our time to basically what you said, like, what are we doing? It's our time to lean back before we lean in, because like you said, oftentimes we can just almost run on autopilot because you have things in place. You're like, all right, we got to do this on this date, this, and this, and then it's like, why are we feeling burned out? Why is this not moving forward? And like you said, it's just such an important step to really lean back and really question yourself, question everything that you're doing, and feel good with those answers. And if you don't, then, you know, something's got to change.
Slow down to speed up sometimes.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. Oh, so much great advice. I always feel
No,
like
I
it's
love
like a
this.
therapy session when we talk to you in the best way
What do you know?
possible. In the best way possible.
The coolest therapist ever.
Yes.
Thank
Yes. So our last question for you is what would be your number one piece of mindset advice for entrepreneurs out there who are growing their brand online and they need to start storytelling and maybe they're just like, "Ooh, I'm not sure how to go about
Start,
this." You know,
yeah.
oftentimes you're like, okay, I'm a brand, I'm a business, and that's it. But people want to interact with people, right? And I think we get in our way a lot of times in sharing that. So what advice would you have for our viewers out there who are growing their brand and want to start storytelling?
You took the words right out of my mouth, right? People want to work with people. Stop being this buttoned up, fake ass person. Like, be yourself. Like, literally, y'all know this. This is literally who I am. There is no separation between what you see on my IGTV,
Right.
what you hear on my podcast. This is who I am. I cannot be anything other than me. So get to know yourself.
Mm.
That is my piece of mindset advice. Stop trying to be like everybody else. Who are you? What do you sound like? What do you believe? What do you think? What do you stand for? What are your core values? Come from that place rather than who do I need to be for you to pay me? Who do I, who do I need to be for you to follow me? I don't want this person to unfollow me. Oh my God, this person, who cares, right? Because at the end of the day, you have to go to sleep at night peacefully knowing that you are one with yourself, that you are not juggling. The only thing that people are juggling these days online are multiple personas, right? Stop trying to juggle, just be one person. So my number one advice is get to know yourself. Get to know yourself better than anybody else. Embrace who you are. If you don't like something about yourself, change it. Stop complaining. If you need to get your ass in therapy, go to therapy, deal with your childhood issues, because that stuff will infiltrate in your business. Stop thinking you can avoid stuff and sweep it under the rug and spiritually bypass it. Like, be really clear about how you're getting in your own way. What are the beliefs that are getting in your way? What are the thoughts that are getting, what are you resisting doing? Ask yourself, what is the root cause of this? Really go deeper into who you are and understand who you are.
Oh, once again, Vasavi,
So
you've
good.
taken us to church.
Yeah.
We love it. We love it so much. It's awesome.
So good.
Thank you so much. Where can our viewers connect with you? Because I know you
Yes.
watching out there are just dying to know.
Well, I'm dying to have you reach out to me. So what I would say, the best place, I would love for you to go ahead and follow me on Instagram at My Name is Vasavi. That is where I'm the most active. It's My Name is Vasavi is the handle. I also am very, very connected to my members in my membership community, Mind Your Own Business. And I host 3 calls a month, a mindset call, a business call, and a community circle. We also get together and do virtual co-working sessions. But yeah, like the best place to like DM me after you watch this, like go ahead and DM me. Let me know that you watched this video. Let's see if I can help you in any sort of way. I have a few different options for people if they want to work with me. And so, yeah. And then also be sure to subscribe to the podcast, Being Human with Vasavi.
Yes.
Amazing.
Thank you so much, Vasavi, for coming on and talking with us and sharing all of your amazing advice. To all of you viewers out there, thank you for watching the She Shine Show. And until next time, keep shining.
Hey there, I'm Anna Laura.
And I'm Alex, and we are the founders of She Shines. So whether you are working full-time, you are a side business queen, full-time entrepreneur, or somewhere in between, we are here to support you.
Yes, and we love doing that through connection, community, and girl talk, usually with a glass of champagne in hand. And we would love to connect with you, whether it's through our She Shines Academy, through our podcast, through an event, or through our text fam. We would love to answer your questions and help support you any way that we can.
We hope to hear from you soon. Cheers, girlfriend.